is Dawn and I'm the Ginger Cat Stitcher, and today I have a really fun project for you. I've created this spring applique pillow, and it's this adorable mommy robin, and she's out for a stroll with her not yet hatched babies. So what's really fun about this pattern is there's lots of three-dimensional elements, and then also this front panel is attached with Velcro, and I will be creating a wool applique pattern for each of the seasons. So I hope you join me today and make yourself one of these really cute springtime pillows. All right, so let's go over the supplies that you will need to make this adorable pillow front. So the first thing that you need is a pillow. So this pillow I got at Walmart for under $8. I think it was like $7.97 or something. I liked it because I liked the texture. Let me get it up there for you. Had a really nice texture, nice neutral color. So this will be the pillow that I use for this spring pattern. And then it's also, I'm gonna do a summer, a fall, and a winter. And I thought those would all go on the same pillow very nicely. So first thing is, you need a pillow, any pillow, 18 by 18 inch throw pillow. So as long as it's 18 by 18, it will work. So the next thing that you're going to need to do is download and print my free pattern. When you print it out, you're going to have all of your pattern pieces, all of your templates. Go ahead and cut those all out, but then trace those onto some cardboard. So you'll also need some cardboard, just a cereal box or poster board. You're going to want to trace your pattern pieces on there so that it gives you a nice thickness, and then cut them out. So you will trace your pattern onto there, then cut it out, and make sure you cut out all the little pieces, so that makes it easier to trace around. So once you get all of your pattern pieces traced and cut out, then you're going to need to gather your wool. So the first thing that you're going to need is a piece of background wool. I chose this nice neutral kind of a taupe color. You're going to need a 12 by 12 square, so 12 inches by 12 inches. You're also going to need a 12 by 12 square of fusible fleece section of wool. All these pieces are pretty small, so just small little scraps of wool that you might have lying about. Also, if you don't have any wool, Etsy is a fantastic place to get some wool. You can get little bundles of wool for applique, and you get a nice assortment of colors. So just search wool bundle for applique. So you're going to need some yellows for the flower, greens, browns for the bird, blues for the eggs. So a selection of wool. And then you will also need a little 2-inch grapevine. So this is the size of it. I think they're sold in like a package of like 4 or 6. I will link some down below. And I think you could use them as napkin rings. I guess that's what they're for. So anyways, it's just a little 2-inch grapevine wreath. You're going to need one of those. And you're going to need some pruning, hand pruning shears to cut your grapevine wreath. You will need some applique scissors or just fabric scissors, a glue stick, just a regular glue stick, some hand sewing thread, a Sharpie marker to trace around your pattern pieces, and then you will need 4 buttons. I will link the buttons that I'm using down below. These are wooden buttons, and these are going to go in the corners. So you will need 4 wooden buttons. Then you will also need, let's see, and how big are these buttons? These are about 1 inch. Then you're also going to need a bigger button. This one is 1¼ inches. So a bigger button, and then I just also had this little one that I thought was really cute. So I'll put that in there. So this is for the wheel of the little nest stroller. So whatever kind of button you want to use for your wheel for your nest stroller. And then you're going to need to choose some fabric for your backing. So I chose this one that had a nice mix of yellows, greens, blues for my backing. And for the backing, you're going to want to cut a 14 by 14 inch square. So the backing is 14 by 14. The front piece of wool and its fusible fleece are 12 by 12. So let me go ahead and clear this away and we'll start in on our pattern pieces. All right, I went ahead and fused the fleece to the back of the wool background so that I could have a nice stable piece of fabric to work with. The other thing you're going to need is a piece of green wool for the grass, and I give you the measurements for this in the instruction on there. And then for the rest of your pattern pieces, you're simply going to take your cutout piece and you're going to lay it onto your wool. Let's move this out of the way. You're going to lay it onto your wool. I think like that looks good. And then for this project, it's totally fine to use a Sharpie. Doesn't have to be super precise. I'm going to look at my fabric here and determine the wrong side. So I'm going to have the wrong side up, and then my fabric piece, or sorry, my template piece, I'm going to just put on there like this. And all right, now that I have my pieces cut out, I will go ahead and place them on here. Trim that up a little bit. There's the leaf, and then we have all of our other pieces cut out. So we're going to place the top of the daffodil right there. And we have our bird, and the bird's the little beak. We have her wing. And I know mommy robins don't necessarily have red tummies, but this one does. So she's got to have a red tummy. All right. And then we have our eggs that we've cut out right here. So this piece will be for the center of the daffodil, and we'll get to that later. So we're going to set that aside. So to make the nest stroller, you're going to use your mini grapevine and your pruning. You're going to cut your grapevine wreath in half. So you're going to work between the two wraparound pieces right here. Let's move this over. And you're just going to snip it, and then directly across from it, you're going to snip it again. Oop. So you have two halves. Oh my goodness. Like so. And this is what's going to make your little stroller. You're going to keep one of the halves, and you're going to bend it just a little bit. It's a little flexible, so don't bend it so hard that it snaps, but you're going to want to kind of straighten it out a bit. The other piece, you're going to want to cut about 1 inch off of it. So about like that. So I'll just use my snippers and we'll cut that off. Now it makes all these little bits fall, and that's okay because we need those. So we're going to keep these. We're going to put those off to the side. So now we have one piece that's a little bigger than the other. And that's so that we can stack them on top of each other, and it kind of gives us an angled edge. So we're going to use our hot glue. We're going to glue these together, and you're going to have to play with them a bit to see how they fit together best. You might have to turn them around, but to see which way they kind of snug into each other best. I think it was this way. So we're going to do it like that. We're going to use our hot glue and just put some dabs right on in here. Pinch that together. And then we can go on the inside and put a little more to fill in between the cracks. And then we're going to hold it together just for a little bit to make sure that that glue sets. So that's how we make the little nest stroller. Now we have to figure out where we're going to place it. So I think I'm going to move my mommy over and up just a bit. She might be a little closer than an inch there. Maybe we'll move these over. There we go. That gives me a little bit more room. And we have our little stroller handle piece, which will fit right into there, just like that. So after we get all the applique done, we're going to hot glue this to our backing, but we don't want to do that just yet. So first thing we're going to do is do the placement of our eggs. And you can just fiddle around with these and see how you like them in there best. And once you get your eggs in there the way you like them, I think I liked that guy in the back. Yeah, I think I like it like that. All right, so once you have her little baby eggs in there, we can remove the nest so we know where to put that. So let's go ahead and take a look, make sure we have everything lined up, straight. There we go. I thought something was wrong. I had my piece upside down and you could see the marker. There. Okay. So we want to look, make sure we have everything on there where we need it. It's looking good. And this is where your glue stick comes in. Now, some people staple their pieces. Some people straight pin. I like to use just a Elmer's glue stick, and I don't glue the whole piece down, but I will just put a little dab under there just so that it doesn't move, and maybe under a petal or two. And this way it stays put on your fabric, on your backing, but doesn't create any of those little bubbles that a safety pin would do. So you're going to just come through and tack down all of your pieces that you're going to applique on there. And once you get all of those glued down, then you're ready to applique them on there. The way I like to do my applique is I just use one color of thread and I just whip stitch it. So when I get to her wing though, I'm going to whip stitch around it. First I'm going to do the bird, then I'll do the tummy, and then I'll put the wing on, and I'm going to go around, but I'm going to leave a little opening down here, and I'm going to take just the tiniest little bit of fiberfill and stuff that up under her wing so we get a little bit of a three-dimensional effect. Oh, and I just remembered the other tip that I was going to give you is when you're working on placement, you want to make sure that when you have your nest on here and you're working on placement so you know where to put the eggs, get your wheel button and put that underneath, so then you'll be able to see, you know, you don't want your stroller floating up in the air, you want the wheel to be able to touch the grass. And then for the bird, same with the bird, we're going to use these little sticks that fell off of the wreath here while we were cutting it. We're going to use those for her little legs. So you're going to want to make sure that you don't get her too far up in the sky that her feet won't touch them. After you get all of your pieces stitched down, you're ready to do the wing on the mommy bird or the daddy bird. So I just want to show you, I just did a whip stitch all the way around, same color on every piece. And just wanted to show you, I'm going to get the wing, and on my wrong side I'm going to go ahead and take just a little bite out of the wool. I'm not going all the way through to the front, just going through into the middle, and then I'm going to go through the same spot again, and then that locks my thread in there without a knot. And I'm going to put the wing on right like this, right where the tip is holding on to the handle of the stroller. And I'm going to come up through my wing and then I will hold this up and show you. So I'm coming up through my wing, I'm going down into the body and then bending my needle back up, so it's just one motion to make that stitch. So again, I'm going to go down into the back, I'm going all the way through into the background, bend my needle, come all the way up through, so down. And that's just a nice quick way of getting even stitches. And all right, I've stitched around to here. Now I'm just going to take the tiniest little bit of stuffing, polyester fiberfill or cotton, whatever your choice is. So that you have a hard time stitching it down. But this gives a nice three-dimensional aspect to her wing. So now I'm going to go ahead and finish whip stitching it closed. All right, I have her wing sewn on. So now is the time to do her eye. And we're going to use needle with 6 strands of embroidery floss. I have a knot in my end, and we're going to come up just about where you think the eye should go, and then we're going to do a French knot, and then I'm just going to pull it through. And there we go. So right now let's work on the center of the daffodil. So you're going to take your fabric that you cut, you're going to take your scissors, and we're just going to wavy cut one edge, just like that. Okay, so to make the center cup area, I'm gonna have our piece of wool that we zigzagged cut, wavy edge cut, needle and thread, and we're going to do a running stitch about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and we're just gonna go back and forth like this, pull it through, and then we're just going to continue with this all the way to the end. And then after we get to the end, we're going to bring this end back up. We're going to overlap it and then bring our thread up, just so that we've closed it and made it into a circle. And then when we pull our threads, the bottom will gather and we will have our little cup. Now you can either tack this with a tiny little stitch, or I'm going to use just the tiniest little bit of hot glue just to hold that closed right there. And so now we've made our cup. I'm going to take my threads here, gather them together, and then tie it off into a knot while I'm working with it with my fingers to kind of, and then go ahead and tie it off. And we'll go ahead and clip these threads. So this will be the center of our flower. And that'll get stitched down just like so. To attach your little cup to the center of your flower, you're going to fold those center ends in so that it looks like that. And then you're going to come up through the bottom and then down through the middle. So you're coming from the bottom underneath your background fabric and then up in like a little fold area and then back down through it. So you're just going to stitch up and down all the way around the cup. And there we go. So our little cup is stitched on. I went up and down all the way through the middle here. If you're having trouble getting your little cup to stay put while you're stitching, put the tiniest little dab of hot glue in the center of the petals and then push your little cup down. Hold it for a second or two, but just a tiny little dab of hot glue. All you need is something to hold it while you're stitching it on there. So then you can kind of play with it, get it folded how you like. Okay, so it's coming right along. Our next step then is to go ahead and put the backing trim on. We don't want to glue any of our pieces on until we've finished the whole piece, and then our corner buttons will go on after we get our backing. So for our backing fabric, we have folded in the sides and given them a nice press. So you're going to be centered on your backing fabric, and you're going to fold your fabric just to the wool and then give that a nice press. Then open this up and give your fabric the same kind of fold and press, just so that you're right up to the wool. Same thing here. And then after you get all the way around and you've done all four sides, we're going to trim it to make our mitered corners. So let me get my cutting board up here and my rotary cutter and my straight edge. Okay, so I have my ruler lined up on my grid to make sure I'm nice and straight. I have a 1/4 inch from the tip of my wool. And then I'm going to go ahead and give that a nice cut. And then that's what's going to give us a nice mitered corner on each piece. Corner here. So we're going to take this over to the sewing machine. We're going to open it up and we're going to do right sides together. And then we're going to stitch, let's hold it this way, just the tiniest little amount. So you're going to stitch from the fold to where this crease, this pressing crease is. So it's like a 1/4 inch here. So just the tiniest little amount of stitching. Don't go past the fold or you'll have troubles. So just from the folded edge to the crease. Okay, I have sewed all the corners. And now we're going to turn them right side out. Use your finger to poke that through. Just going to flip them right side out. And now we'll put our fabric, our wool backing right on in there. So your wool piece should fit nice and snug right into the backing fabric. So here we have our mitered corner and our fabric folds right up over. And you just have to play around with them, get them in there nice and even, and then the sides will fold over. Now this part you can either do on a machine and just top stitch this down, or if you wanted to, you could also hand stitch the sides down. I'm going to go ahead and do it on the machine. Okay, all of the corner buttons are sewn on, and now it's time to give these little babies a nest to be in. So we're going to glue that right there like that. And we're going to make sure that our wheel is going to look good. It touches the ground. All right. So we're going to go back to our hot glue and we're going to put some glue. Don't overdo it because you don't want it to leak out the edges. But we're just going to put some glue on the ends of all of those little sticks. And right there. Go ahead and push down and hold it for a little bit to give the mama some legs. So we saved, I got threads in there. We saved the little pieces that crumbled off when we trimmed this piece. So I'm going to look for little bits that have a little V on them, to be kind of like her feet. Let's see. And if you don't have any like that, you know, just a regular one would work. So you could choose like these two. Those would work also. But I have these two with the little V's on them. So we're going to use that. And then we're going to use the Eileen's Tacky Glue. It holds really well, and I don't want to chance with the hot glue that it's going to leave a mess, which hot glue can definitely do sometimes. So we're going to just kind of play with her little feet, see which one looks better. I think the bigger one in the back. And you can always tuck it up underneath the applique a little bit. So I'm going to put a little bits of glue on the parts that touch the fabric. And then last thing to do would be to put our Velcro on the back. So let me get these little feet glued down. I have stuck, let's see, we'll start with the front. So I have the button on here, and I put a little drop of hot glue inside the nest and just put in some little threads and some unspun fleece, some roving, that's the word, just to give the nest a little bit of filler. And And then on the back, I did the stick-on Velcro, and I put some hot glue all around the edges and gave it a real good press, and it's on the back of the button, so that just helps give it some extra stick. And now I'm going to take the side of the Velcro that's going to go onto the pillow, and I'm just very lightly going to press it onto, just very, very lightly. I shouldn't even say press. I'm just going to lay it on the top. And this way, when we flip it over, we will have the Velcro pieces lined. All right, once you have your tabs all stuck down, it's time to put your interchangeable panel on. And there you go. That's it. So I hope you go ahead and grab the printable pattern and make one for yourself. Okay, so that's it for the video instructions for this pattern. Please go down to the link in my description below and grab yourself the free printable. And like I said, it's free for you. Share this video with your friends so that they can print out the pattern and they can make one too. And you can keep it plain like this, or if you wanted to add some embroidery embellishments, you certainly could go ahead and do that. And that's it. I hope you have fun making it. Thanks. Bye.